So I was 16 when I found out that I was pregnant. I don't remember it ever crossing my mind to tell my mom or tell friends or tell anybody. I just knew I had to handle it myself. Having a baby was going to change the way they saw me, and so that's what I was thinking. It was almost like I didn't want to go there. It was how I was feeling, because it maybe changed my decision if I really thought about how it was making me feel. After I had the abortion, I broke up with my boyfriend, and so now it was a point where I'd made this decision, and so my life has to be a success. Thinking about who did my family think I was, what were their expectations for me, I definitely needed to fulfill that now. And so there was that drive behind it, and I worked very, very hard. But I think the masking of the emotions, I did that more with alcohol and more relationships that were unhealthy. I kept friends at a distance so that I didn't have to start talking and then potentially feeling something. I was committed for about 3 years to not telling anybody, and then I got into this sort of self-help group, which ended up not helping me at all, but I ended up telling a group of strangers. It was disconnected, like it didn't matter so much that I told them because I didn't know them really. The desire to tell somebody was really more about, is anybody going to accept me if I tell them? I was married and in a tumultuous relationship, tumultuous marriage. Something was clearly wrong in the relationship, but I didn't know what to do about it. And so we were at church, and I had gone to a women's Bible study, and they put a brochure on the chair about a post-abortion restoration class, and I thought, well, I don't really even think about this, but I know I'm having problems in life, so maybe I'll just go and check it out. After I went through that class, I did not feel like anything had changed, and was still just kind of kept going in this sort of downward spiral. About, I don't know, 5 years later, I was just at one of the lowest points in my life. I had hit what I felt was my rock bottom. And that's when I cried out to God and I said, okay, I'm done trying to do things my own way. And so I started coming to Watermark, and things were very gray to me. And I just needed to hear God's truth about who He was and His love for me. He brought me out of that denial and into a place where I could really start going through the exercises that were in the book and that were part of the class, and hearing the other women in a different way where I was like, okay, that's me. And I started connecting those dots then. And it took me years to be able to say, if I had decided to have that baby when I was 16, my whole life would have been different and it would have been better. It just took me, I think, hearing the message of what God believes about life, not only my child's life, but my life, to really see that I didn't trust Him at that moment. I didn't know that He would have provided for me at that moment. And if I had made a different decision, I think that would have reflected my trust in the Lord. It would have reflected confidence on my part. So the decisions that I made after that would have reflected the same. Believing in a God that I can fully trust with all of this stuff and all those emotions finally, and giving that to Him, that was the gift that I got from the ministry. I lost my child. I lost a part of myself. And this ministry gave me the opportunity to grieve that when the world would say, it's a choice you made, just move on. Even now, I miss my child, and that's okay that I miss my child. Every year I get to see God working in other people's lives and them finding the same freedom that I have and the same forgiveness that He offered me. I can point people toward, finding that. And because it's not that one day you feel forgiven and then you just feel forgiven for the rest of your life. Reminders come back up, things come back up, and I fight for that freedom. There is a place to find freedom. There's a place to find forgiveness. There is nothing that's too big for God to forgive. There's nothing that you've done. There's nothing that you can say. There's nothing that's been done to you that God can't heal. It's a lot of work to hide. It's a lot of work to remind yourself that you're not forgivable. It's a lot of work to reject God. And so when you come to Him and put this before Him and ask for forgiveness and really receive that gift, that all that work is over. It's just done and you can rest.